All right. I always like that intro. It always make you want to dance. It's just so smooth. Like you got some smooth jazz in the background. We brought back the smooth jazz station WJZZ back to Detroit ways by
All
way
right.
of the video. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right. And yourself, man. You good? I'm good.
Doing good. Doing good. We want to be honest and let everybody know we are taping this a little bit of delay. It is actually morning for Felix. It's still nighttime for me since it's after midnight for him. We got a few prior commitments, but we're still making a commitment to the show to make sure we get this done. And before we go anywhere, we want to make sure we send our thoughts and prayers out to the MSU family, specifically my alma mater. There was a shooting, everybody, if you're not aware of, that happened just this past week. And it almost hit a little close to me, but by the grace of God, it did not. And my family member is safe, and we're glad for that. We want to pray for those who were affected directly and indirectly with anything that happened, and for the entire MSU family on campus and worldwide. So just pray that this doesn't happen again. It seems like every time you turn around, it happens, and it's getting closer and closer to the people we know and love in the state of Michigan. So I don't know if it's a political problem or a mental health problem, but something needs to be done because we are leading the world in these incidences. And if that's happening, when we're leading the world in those instances, we need to find a way to find a solution. So,
Absolutely.
that's my soapbox for today. As always, click like, click share. And I want to make sure you let everybody know that Kamau and Felix is on the internet and they talking that crazy sports stuff again. As always, our goal is to be the soul train of this generation coming on in the morning while you clean up around the house. You don't have to watch us. You just keep us in the background. You can always run back to Peter and make a little comment. Y'all are tripping. That's funny. Whatever, man. Whatever you want to say. Leave us a comment. We make sure we get back to you. And we want to make sure that you get the book, Gratefulness Journey, every day, written by our producer and head man in charge, Mr. Marcus Holmes. And we make sure you support him. We also hope that everybody have a good Valentine's Day, that you got shot by a positive Cupid arrow, and that you at least got one of them little candy hearts that say "Choose me" or "I choose you" or "Happy Valentine's Day" something. Hope you got something. Bought yourself a rose or something. So you know they give out the rose on the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. Give yourself a rose. I choose me. I choose me if there's anything else. All right, let's get right to it. Topic of the week is the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was a very, very good game. We came in through the halftime and gave our pontifications on it. I originally did say I wanted the Eagles to win. About halfway through, I made a change in my heart. I did say the Chiefs were going to win, but I didn't report that to the page. I reported it to my group that we get together by way of our $10 group to see who's going to win it. And I chose it on that side. I said 25-28, and Chiefs pulled it out 35-38. I think that was closer to what your score was originally. And I was very surprised to see the Chiefs come back and win that game. The Eagles were controlling the line of scrimmage and the entire game. And it seemed like something at halftime that Rihanna went out there and did her Mariah Carey impression, where she just moved an inch here and an inch there and lip synced the whole time. And and they made a whole change. What do you think about that second half?
Basically, what you said, they controlled the second half. They couldn't. It was like it was two different first half. The Eagles just took off, and then it was like the second half. It was just like this was enough. That's what it seemed like. They quit playing.
Well, it seemed like the biggest difference to me was special teams. When you give up a long punt return, you give up a long kick return, put them in position to score a touchdown and a field goal that late in the game made the difference to me. I was glad to see that their running back was smart enough to get down to save the clock. The clock management was to a T to that game. We've been complaining about that on the college and pro level, on more than just our own coach. So that was a real smart thing right there As soon as they lined up, I said, Eagles gonna let them score. And sure enough, they started making it look good. They started playing, and you could see them getting out of the way. And the guy was like, no, we're not gonna do that. But had he scored, I think, they would have had a minute or so. That would have made a big difference. But whether they still would have won or not, but that was very wise on his part to do what he did at the time. And right after that, we got let's see here. Now, what about that defensive hold call? Do you think that was a necessary call?
You talking about when on Schuster?
Yep.
He had to make the call, but the guy even admitted it. So
Yeah. Well, I thought you were gonna say no, seeing this that you in the championship game. They said you said that they shouldn't have called that call on the Bengals guy.
Yeah, but that was Blair. You couldn't. I mean, you could not call it, right? But the other one was, man. That other one was crap. But that right there, it was blatant. Obviously, you see me. Like, yeah, I did grab him. So man.
When I saw the game originally, and when the play happened, and then the flag was kind of late, I said it must have been against the holding because they were showing the middle of the field primarily, and they you see them scramble that way and throw the ball, and I'm like, so then here come the referee flag. And I'm like, it had the only play it could have been was a defensive holding, and then of course they break out those camera angles because it's about 1,000 cameras going, and they say they turned them and changed the trajectory. And then after, everybody was arguing, complaining about it on the internet, on Facebook. How you gonna call that call? The referee take the game from him, and then he get in the post game said, "Yeah, I held him." So he's hoping I didn't see it. But from a coaching standpoint, it was 3 points as opposed to 7. He did his job. He stopped the touchdown. Did that cost him the game? Probably not. Because at that point, it was a lot. The momentum has already swung in the Chiefs' favor. Now, do you think Rihanna stole the show? Everybody was talking about more people showed up to see Rihanna in the halftime show than the rest. Than people watching upon average for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because I mean, what she do? She showed her baby bump, so really the whole thing. And then when they took her up, like 50 feet there or whatever. Super Bowl show, the Super Bowl halftime, the Super Bowl halftime. Just a little entertainment.
Originally, I was like, she's not doing nothing. She's just standing in place. She's doing, like I said earlier, her Mariah Carey impression. Because if you ever see Mariah Carey, she just do this. Hold the microphone. And then, I was like, wait a minute, she looked a little swole there. But I didn't say it out loud. Until the ladies in the room start saying it. If the ladies in the room start saying it, they give you license to say it. Because you don't want to, the last thing you want to do is, if she was a woman being pregnant, if she's not, that's how you get beat up real bad. So I let the ladies in the room say it first before I put it on put it out there. But I felt that the show could have been better. Of course, it's a double standard. If she goes out there pregnant, she doesn't have to move around as much as the guy. If he sprang his ankle, he got to get up and keep it moving. They talked about Post Malone a couple weeks ago. He was hurt on stage, but he had to keep it going. But it's Rihanna. Everybody loved Rihanna. She had on her red. She gave a little commercial for her Fenty baby, so she gonna make money off of that. So kudos to her. And as always, as we should start with, congratulations to Rihanna and what's her boyfriend's name? The rapper dude. I can't call him.
A$AP Rocky.
A$AP Rocky. Where did they get these names from? I don't know what that means. A$AP Rocky. Okay.
Me neither.
If it was me, I'd change my name to Mr. Rihanna. That'd be my name. I know we talked about that before, changing our last name. Whatever our last name is, my name would be A$AP Rocky 50. That'd be my name. I'd change my name. I'd be staying home dad. She'd come home, be food on the table, kitchen be clean, clothes folded, all that stuff.
Right.
I would definitely do all that. I'd be Mr. Mom. That'd be me. With a smile on my face. You need anything, baby? That would be me. If you work for Billy, you got to play your role. Why not? I know I talked about it before, but if I was in that situation, yeah, of course you stay home, take care of the kids, and let her work, take care of the boardroom. That's how it goes. All right, once again, don't forget to click like, click share, and don't forget to go to our Facebook page and join our Facebook team. It's growing. A few more members come in this week. We want to thank those who did join us this week, and we're moving into the NBA. And as always, we start with our Pistons. I'm doing what we did last year. Right around this time, we started tracking their record. A month ago, they were 12-36 and 30, 12 and 36. 2 weeks ago, they were 13 and 40, one additional win. And this time, they are 15 and 44. So that means they have lost 8 games and won 3. They're 3 and 8 over the last 6 weeks. So kudos to them. Yes. But hey, I still love my Pistons. They got a trade. They traded Sadiq Bey for James Wiseman, almost overall, number 2 overall pick a few years. Was it last year? I think it was. They got that as out of a trade. And everybody in Golden State said that he's a good kid. It's just the situation that he's in is not conducive for him, which makes sense because you're playing behind Steph and Clay and Dre and the guy who got punched. See, that's a shame. I should have remembered him like that. The guy who went to Michigan, out of Milwaukee, Jordan Poole. He's not going to get any shots. He's just not. That's just what it is. And so for him to come to Detroit, he debuted last night, and he scored 11 points. The bad part about it was he really should have joined the team sooner than that. There was it was held up by a nice little snafu in the NBA. Was it Portland? I think he was at Gary Payton II, GB2, GB3 was traded back, and he failed the physical, and Golden State filed a brief with the NBA saying that they misled him on his injury, but they waived the clause, the physical clause for him to come on back, which allowed the 14 trade to go through, and Sadiq Bey went on with where he went, and James Wiseman came to Detroit. So we got a lot of young players. We're looking at right now on our team. We have 3 top 5, top 6 draft picks. Well, top 10 draft picks. We have 3, and that's not a bad thing right now. We've got something to build on. The kid with the shin splints injury, he'll be back next year, and it's almost a secret that's not a secret that they're talking about. They're talking about firing Casey at the end of the year and bringing in another coach. I do support it, not because I think he's a bad coach, but like we said before, he's not a fit for what they're doing right now. What he attempts to do out on the court, he's not a fit for them. I've always thought he was a good coach. They railroaded him out of Toronto, and when they came to Detroit, I was happy to see him here. And he took them to the playoffs that first year when they had Blake Griffin. It seemed like after that, it was all down here from there. So at the end of the day, it's about winning. And so, he has been doing that. So we're gonna look at him making a change to go somewhere else, and hopefully he can be an assistant again and work his way back into being a head coach again. But oftentimes when you're that low in terms of winning 19, 20 games, 3, 4, 5 years in a row like that, and still keep a job, to come back as a assistant coach is going to be, and work his way back to being a head coach again is going to be kind of difficult. I don't know if that it can't happen. It could happen, but I don't know if it's going to happen. And the All-Star weekend is going on right now. What city are they in? I forget what city they're in.
Utah.
Oh, my goodness. They're in the dry state. They might as well have Kansas, Texas. Yeah, Salt Lake City. Yes, it's my good friend live out there tonight, and it's cold out there. It's cold. It's really cold out there right now. So, but it's a dry state too. So, they're not gonna party like they used to. They used to go on and party for All-Star weekend. The clubs closed. There's very few clubs that's open. They probably might have to open up some clubs specifically just for the All-Star weekend. because they don't party like that out there. If you've ever watched the Real Housewives of Utah, that's what they don't do too much of that. It's a dry-state. The teams have not still been picked yet, which is kind of odd. Of course, LeBron and Giannis are still the captains, but they haven't picked the teams yet. And tonight they had the All-Star game, Celebrity All-Star game, and Richard Jefferson got to be a referee again, and he almost had he had to fake tee up Lisa Leslie, and they had a lot of fun out there. That's what it's all about, the celebrity game. I didn't get a chance to see a box score or anything like that. I got to see it, a couple of those highlights to see who actually went out there and played. I know in the past Kevin Hart has done well in that game, and Justin Bieber has done well. So when I get a chance to look at the highlights, I'll be able to tell you a little bit more as to what's going on. But it's the All-Star weekend, and it's halfway through, and we're going to when we talk about the NFL, we're going to put a pretty big bow on it. We're not going to talk as much about the NFL before. In the future, we're going to deep dive into basketball and in baseball. We committed to doing that, and of course, women's basketball that we're going to talk about in a few more minutes. It's moving forward. All righty. Let's see here. We are moving now into college basketball. Looking forward to that. I'm going to click like, click share. Get the book, Gratefulness Journey, every day. Gratefulness Journey, written by that young man right there, Mr. Marcus Holmes. Get him right there in the camera. All right, there he is. That finger, there we go, that finger right there. That's a big one. They have some devil right there. And want to make sure we thank him for everything we do in the Love of Stuff Diaspora. That's the flagship show, Love of Stuff. Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, Love in the Scriptures. And we have the Gratefulness Journey. I think they do that on Wednesdays. And there's a couple more shows I am forgetting about, but forgive me. So you can check our website because those shows are posted when they have them on there as well. All right, moving to college basketball. The surprise team, the team I talked about in the beginning of the season, doing well. The Northwestern Wildcats take down Purdue, riding a 10-game win streak. They 10-5 in the Big Ten. I think that's second place in the Big Ten. Is that second or third?
Third.
I think they're third place in the Big Ten. 19-7 overall. They are definitely doing better than U of M and Michigan State right now. So if the season ends today, they might be like a 7 or 8 seed.
Man, that's worse.
Say it again?
I say 10 would be the worst. A 10 seed would be. Oh.
Yeah. And that'd be a first time for the Wildcats making the tournament. So I'm praying for them that they continue to move forward and do that and make the tournament. It'll be the first time for them to go. The only team in the Big Ten that has not gone, and they're doing well right now. So kudos to them. And MSU was outside of the bubble right now. You think they with their record they have, you think they're gonna make? I think what 16-9. I think it is right now.
I think they 17-9, and then they or they might be 7-6 in the Big Ten. But they play Michigan.
Yeah,
they beat them
tomorrow.
Right, they beat them in East last.
They're going to Ann Arbor, going to Chrysler Arena, the quietest arena in the entire country. And I don't think, honestly, they can put up as many kids as they want to as cheer. The acoustics in that place is terrible. Have you ever been to a game there?
Yeah.
In Chrysler Arena?
No.
My first time I went to see there was I was a kid, Bobby Knight, and I played against U of M there, and I think that was the year they still had Antoine Jobert, and it was a good game, but Michigan won. But the first thing I can remember is it was like a vacuum of noise. When you hear that horn on TV, you hear it better on TV than you do in the building. So they always talk about that Michigan being quiet, but it's not necessarily because they don't have the people there. It's because the building acoustics are terrible. So at some point, hopefully they would look at building a new stadium over there, but they don't necessarily need to do so because they're making the money with the one they have, and it's still state of the art enough to where they can do what they need to do there with it. All righty. Purdue was the #1 team. Now they got 2 losses in a row. They just lost to Maryland last night. You think they're going on any kind of a slide, or is this just the Big Ten?
Right, there you go. It's just the Big Ten.
Just the Big Ten, okay. Yeah, because everybody's going to have a little slide there going down the stretch. It's just natural for everybody to do that. So I'm hoping that they can hold on. They got the big fella up there, and if the offense runs through him.
All right.
Offense always runs through him. So we're going to see if they can continue to hold that up. Coach Painter, which is he reminds me of Eddie Munster with the hairdo, but he's a good coach. He seems to recruit pretty well. Yeah, that's how I remember people. I remember people by land. I remember things by landmark. I remember faces by association of other things. I don't mean no harm. He seemed like a nice guy, but I do remember once upon a time when the coach there was there many years ago. I forget the guy's name, the one who coached Big Dog Robinson. I had student tickets when I was a student there. Gene, what's the game again?
Gene Katie.
Gene Katie. And it's a funny thing because this story got to come full circle for me because we had seats right on top, literally, of the Purdue bench. That's where our seats were in the lower bowl. And so we yelled down at the team, not just a member of the hair club, not just the president, but a member also. And we kept yelling and screaming about his hair. And he called the guys, and cussed them out on the timeout because they was losing real bad. And Quanzo Martin was on that team that year, and we was teasing them because they was like, y'all not gonna do that, y'all not gonna do that. And all of a sudden they start coming back. Quanzo was hitting 3 after 3, and every time he hit that 3, he was looking up in the stands, looking at us. And I got to meet him some years later when he was recruiting some of our kids when I was at Denby. And when I started talking about that story, he just fell out laughing. He said, "Yeah, me and my boys talk about that to this day." He said, "I can finally go back and tell them I met those guys who was yelling at us and yelling at Gene Katie that night because they were literally holding their faces, getting yelled at like, yes sir, because they were laughing at us talking about Gene Katie's head. But when you in college and you sneak something in the building that you're not supposed to have, and that's what happened. And I don't remember. Did that what happened? I don't know, but that's what happened. All right. We are moving into women's college basketball. Got a few quick things we're going to talk about there. All right, get off my screen. Okay, there we go. We got UConn and Tennessee. UConn, we talked about that. UConn took down Tennessee. UConn and South Carolina. Oh, my goodness. Great game. South Carolina wins it down the stretch, just some free throws, and starts a war words with Ariana and South Carolina coach Dawn Staley. He was talking about how they was playing too tough defense and bruised this player up. And Dawn Staley comes back and says, "I don't want to hear it. All those years y'all beat up on our players. We was 0-7 against y'all, but now that we winning, you gonna complain about it. And I don't want to hear it." So I don't blame you. When you losing, you got to take that. But when you winning and the other team mad because they losing, that's just what it is, man. The tide changes after a while. And then South Carolina put the smack down on LSU, 88-64. When I turned the game on, midway through the first half, it was starting the second quarter, they were up like 12 or something like that. And they got it down to 6. And before you know it, was up to 20. And every time the one girl tried to go up against Boston, she had nothing coming. The girl, she out there looking sweet in the uniform with the one leg, another leg high, and she got the nails and the lashes.
Talking about Angel Reese.
Yeah, Angel Reese. She out there looking sweet, but they broke her double record. She had 12 points and 6 rebounds, and she couldn't do nothing. The whole time in that game, I'm laughing because I'm like, Leah Boston is the biggest boss that she's seen thus far. She tried to go out there and lead her team, and just wouldn't happen. But they did have a girl score on the high score was on LSU's team, and but LSU has a good future because they're pretty young, so they're still pretty young over there. But the girl who scored the most was the girl for South Carolina, was their center. Seemed like they were isolating her, and she was getting every rebound and going to the free throw. Every time you look up, she scored and back on the free throw line. So that was a very entertaining game, and it seemed like every time Reese girl got the ball against Boston, she tried to turn her face and go to score. Wouldn't happen. She would pass the ball out, try to go to the top of the key and try and dribble it out. No, wouldn't happen. So I just laughed the whole time. Did you get a chance to see that game at all?
In that game, that was terrible. They jumped out. They jumped out like 14 to 10.
Yeah.
That game was terrible.
I thought it would have been a better game, quite honestly. That was my thought.
Yeah.
I think the lights was a little bit too bright. And Coach Mulcahy, I think's her name, when they interviewed her at halftime, she was like, well, nobody's beating them. Let's go out and see what the best we can do. You know as a coach how your team was responding. You already know. And she already knew at that point. Right. It wasn't much happening. Now, do you think this is the end of UConn as we know it? They've lost 3 in a row for the first time in 30 years. Do you think this is the end of things as it is?
I think Don Staley in South Carolina about to be the new bully on the block.
All right. Because Tennessee was there for a lot of years. Them and Stanford went back and forth at each other. Then R.A.M. came in with his team, and he took over. And you're not going to do it forever. You're not going to do it forever. That's just how it is. And now Dawn Staley's there, and LSU's there. Stanford is still, as always, they're just a very steady program. And of course, there's always a few buzzing around the side, but those are the top teams right now. All righty. Once again, you want to click like, click share, and thank you guys for showing up for us this morning. And I want to let you know that we are still, this is sort of a little tape delay by just a few hours. Don't forget to leave your comments, even though we're not live this time, but we're coming at you live on tape. Leave your comments and we'll get back to you. Anything you say, we'll make sure we comment back to you about anything that we're talking about. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page and sign up to be a part of our program and our team, Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to get the book, Gratefulness Journey Every Day, written by Marcus Holmes, PhD, SHRM-CP. I don't know what that means, but it means the man is important. You know what that means, you know what he's talking about. Love and Stuff, Diaspora. He has Love and Stuff show, Love the Scriptures, Wednesday nights, Gratefulness Journey. I think that's Friday mornings, and there's a few more coming, and we got a lot more things coming on, coming at you. All right, going to NFL news. NFL news, top news. Eric Bieniemy is going to the Washington Commanders as the associate head coach and offensive coordinator. Is that a lateral move or is that a step up?
I think that's a latter move because, he got 2 rings, right? So maybe let me go here. Okay, because really, the NFC not as tough as the AFC, right? So for him to go I was shocked with the Commanders. That's a good fit. Him and Ron Rivera, I believe so.
Well, Ron Rivera was considered a defensive coach when he first came in the league, but even though he was a defensive coach, his offenses have always been very prolific. So for bringing Eric Bieniemy, it just adds to that resume for him. They said that Bieniemy has interviewed the most of anybody in the last 5 years in terms of going for head coaching jobs, and he hasn't got one yet. So they're hoping that with him going to another program and showing that he can do it there is going to allow for them to see him in a different light. because the knock was always Big Red was making offensive calls, all play calling in Kansas City. So we're just hoping that will let them see him in a different light and make those changes. But in the meantime, the Eagles coordinators both are head coaches in Indianapolis and in Arizona. I don't know who and where, but they both are somewhere else now. And so the Eagles will be looking at hiring new coordinators. And hopefully we can keep our staff intact in Detroit and can continue to bring them move forward. Because a couple of them did look at going to other places, in particular Indianapolis. He took the stuff out of the running. The defensive coordinator did. And so they're all coming back. And Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees were announced. We got Rondé Barber, Darrell Reeves, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Webb, Don Eric Coryell, Chuck Howley, and Joe Klecko. I see they say 9. We got 9. We got one coach in there. We got 2 people who played many years. A couple of people played many years ago. I look at that list and I say, okay, we got Rondé Barber, defensive back. Is he really a Hall of Famer?
No.
No. I honestly would say that Tiki Barber, in my opinion, is closer to being a Hall of Famer. I would say he is closer than Rondé Barber. Tiki Barber messed up when he went out and messed up and got that girl pregnant when his wife was pregnant already.
No, he couldn't hold on to the ball.
So Tiki?
Yeah, Tiki in them late crucial drives, he used to fumble the ball.
Yeah, but my point is, I didn't say that he was not worthy. I just thought that he was more worthy than Rondé. I'm not saying Rondé was a bad corner or anything like that, but like every year who's the first person they talk to? Deion. Deion always say, some of these guys ain't gonna make it. They shouldn't be there. And I have to agree 100%. I'm not saying that they are bad players, but we're talking about Hall of Fame. Rondé Barber, I don't know. Zach Thomas, yeah. DeMarcus Ware, I don't know. I'm not saying he was a bad player, but I don't know. Joe Klecko was the original sack dance man for the Jets. Him and the other defensive tackle. Is he Hall of Fame? That's a borderline choice right there to myself. I do remember seeing, as a kid, Joe Thomas and Chuck Howley was a little bit before my time. But I don't know. Some of these guys were, I don't, maybe, you got to keep the interest of the fans. But I think that you want to, I don't always agree with everything that the Baseball Hall of Fame do. But you ain't up there, they're not letting you in. I think Pete Rose is Hall of Fame worthy, but he admitted to gambling on baseball. Nope, no go. You're not coming in. You got the boy in San Francisco who broke the record. Barry Bonds. He won't see nowhere near the Baseball Hall of Fame. He won't see it because he allegedly did steroids. And the kid from Oakland and the kid in Chicago. Neither one of them.
Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa will not see the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There's a ton of guys in the NFL Hall of Fame who took performance-enhancing drugs. Because that's once upon a time, that's what it was on the training table. It was literally set out in bowls on the training table, and that's not a secret. But down the stretch, they try to keep up with everybody else, but they didn't come out as well as the others. All righty. We're a little bit ahead of time here on today's show, but we're going to have a good time talking about some of this other stuff moving forward. Let's see here. We didn't miss anything, did we? We went over everything, didn't we?
Sure.
We a little ahead. This is the first for us. We normally can talk a little bit more about some of this stuff. Let me go back and make sure we didn't miss nothing. We sure did. We covered everything. Look at that. We still ahead, but that's all right. That means we're doing something right. So what we're gonna do really quickly, hopefully I got this right. We're gonna take a quick pause for the calls for Stupid Sports News. did it right. Proud of myself. Brett Favre. Brett Favre is in the news. He's suing Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp for $100 million for what's the word he used? For defamation. He's saying that they defamed his character by talking about the fact that he should be going to jail for taking money from the state of Mississippi from welfare recipients. There's been an investigation, and throughout that investigation, there were people who were charged, and he was not one of them, mysteriously. People have lost their jobs, people have been charged, but for some reason they said, Brett Favre, we love Brett. That money that we gave you that you didn't do nothing for, you go and keep that. You still know that money towards the volleyball program for your daughter? Don't worry about that. We got it. The president ain't gonna take the fall for that. So now he's suing Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp hasn't said anything about it. Pat McAfee, the first thing he said on his podcast was, "Okay, bring it on. Come on, man. You want to talk about it? We can talk about it." So I'm interested to see how this is going to go, how far it's going to go, how far this is going to go in the court of law with it. What's your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't wait to see it myself. Because, I mean, you did it wrong, man. Because maybe you don't have no money left.
I don't know about that. He got endorsements to this day. He got the endorsements with them with the magnets. Him and Jerry Rice got the commercial together.
Coppertone.
Coppertone. He still got something. He still got a couple things going on, and he made a lot of money in the field. I'm not saying he maybe never squandered or anything like that. Hopefully he didn't.
Right.
But he do still have money coming in. But you know what do people with a lot of money want? More money.
More money.
So that might be it right there.
Yeah.
I'm just upset to see that he took all that money from people in the state of Mississippi. Between Mississippi and South Carolina, the two poor states in these here United States of America, from people who could actually use that. And had he went out and did what he was supposed to do with it, which was give those speeches and talk about nutrition, none of which he did, this wouldn't be a problem.
Correct.
All right, moving forward to Cam Thomas, basketball player for the Brooklyn Nets, was fined $40,000 for saying something that's been a popular saying out in the stratosphere amongst our community. I would say in this generation. I'm apologize for those ahead of time who may be offended by this phrase. He said the words "no homo" in an interview. He complimented a guy about something, then behind that he said those words, and the NBA fined him $40,000. Do you think that was excessive, or do you think that he shouldn't be fined at all?
I mean, boy, you know what? It's kind of hard to say. Because first you say we got fit. He did his freedom of speech. Now he getting paid. Now he paying the fine. I don't. That's a touchy one there for me. I don't know. I guess.
I don't know. Now, with today's society, the way people look at things, as though that's definitely something he probably could have said a little better, a little differently.
Right.
Definitely could have did something a little differently, said a little bit better. So I would say that the fine is excessive. I wouldn't say that it didn't warrant a fine. I would say that the fine is a little bit much compared to what in my opinion, I would have hit him with 12,500 or 15,000, but 40,000 is a lot.
Yes.
I'm not saying what he did say was wrong, but I think it's a bit excessive. So, and of course, we try our best to be a good, strong PC society, but that one really caught him up a little bit. Hopefully, he'll think twice before he said or anybody else, so they won't get said. All right, and we got Chris Beard, the former coach for Texas, the case was dropped. The case was dropped in Austin. They dropped all the charges against the young man, but that will not bring his job back. He is out.
Yeah.
He got fired for cause. They don't owe him another dime unless he goes after that money. He can always sue the university and probably go to arbitration. He might get some of it back. But he's on out. He's out, and the girlfriend said it was self-defense. I attacked him with the frying pan, and he was defending himself. And I called the police because I was mad. And surprisingly, he has. I don't remember him saying anything about anything. Just had that silly look on his face when he was being walked out. You know, they do the perp walk and put him on the news. That's the only thing I can remember.
Right.
I don't remember him making a statement or anything, just, about the whole situation. I hope that he's able to be, hired again somewhere else. Somebody takes a chance on him. He's a great coach. He's definitely a great coach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Take a chance and hire him and improve the program. I'm not gonna go there. But I'm just gonna hope that somebody will pick him up. I was about to say something about our backyard, but I'm gonna leave that alone. You don't leave it alone. Maybe before all this happened, but definitely not now. It's gonna take a little bit of while. He's gonna have to work his way back through the assistant coaches ranks, and maybe go to a D2 or D3 and work his way back up. Because if the guy at Auburn can make his way back from being at Tennessee and having those charges to get him, then for cheating, then Chris Beard can work his way back. For that. So everybody is worthy of doing a second chance. He didn't go out and kill anybody or anything like that. So I would hope that he would get a second chance out there. Well, look at it, bros. Can you believe how ahead we are of everything? Are we missing anything? We got the dunk contest tomorrow night. Who's in the dunk contest? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Let's see here. And then we got the 3-point contest. So I'm gonna look all this up stuff, but we got some time. This is a first. Let me put this in here. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I'm working 2 computers. I'm working the one with the show running on it. And I'm working around in the background where I can run everything on. So I'm gonna see if we can talk about some more stuff. We want to waste a little bit of time here. The 2023 AT&T Slam Dunk Contest. Of course, they have all that stuff in the Skills Challenge tomorrow night, or tonight, I should say, because it's after midnight for me now. See, we got Jericho Sims, Mac McClung, Troy Murphy, and Kenyon Martin Jr. Okay. That's it. 4 guys. Let me make sure I got that right. Let me run this through. 4 guys. Okay. Do we know who these people are?
No. Martin Jr. is Kenyon Martin, so.
Yeah, I know that, but I've heard Mark McClung, but I didn't know he was a dunker like that. I didn't know he was out there dunking on people. Okay. Kenyon Martin, Mac McClung, Trey Murphy, and Jericho Sims. And the judges, Jamal Crawford. They did that man so wrong. They did him so wrong, they're going to bring him back for a judge. Lisa Leslie, Carl Malone, Harold Miner, Baby Jordan, and Dominique Wilkins. Okay. I don't know if I like that. That's not right. It's only 4 people. Okay. All right. Skills Challenge. Let's see here. What we got in the Skills Challenge? We have we got teams this year. Oh, they doing the shooting thing. That's right.
What?
They got they do the shooting thing. So they instead of the WNBA, they're doing they're adding let's see, a rookie team. Let's see how they got this thing going. They got a rookie team. They got Team Jazz and Team Giannis. So Team Giannis, they got him. They got all the brothers from Giannis. Giannis, Thanasis, and Alex. I don't want to mess up their last name. Team Jazz, Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton, and the rookies, Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. Okay. All righty. Okay. They got to do all kind of crazy stuff. I guess the hockey people were successful by having their skills challenge. So the NBA started putting one together.
Right.
And let's see here. Let's see. Well, they got another event going on. What's this here? All-Star Saturday night. Let's see here. We got skills challenge, the 3-point contest. Here it is. Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Huerta, David Lillard, Laurie Markkinen, Julius Randle, and Jason Tatum. Wow, Julius Randle in this contest. Is it me?
What?
Why is Julius Randle in a 3-point contest?
He can make them. I'm not saying he can't, but I mean, you never know until you get out there, right?
Lord. Okay. All right, Jason Tatum. If I had to put money down, I'll put it on Tyler Hero. That's what I would think we're winning. This is and it looks like they're going to keep that same format for the game that they've had in the past in terms of the spots on the floor with all the points and then so far when you get down the stretch, points become more. It's almost like a cross between Ice Cube's league and the MTV basketball games they used to have back in the day. Let's see, DK Metcalf was the winner of the celebrity game. I know they talked about him dunking a couple times. Yeah, so that looks pretty good there. So the Miz, whoever that is, take a half-court shot of WWE wrestler. So they getting everybody involved. I still say that Shannon Sharp gonna be on WrestleMania this year. So I'm the first person to say it. All right, young man. I think we're gonna end the show a little early. This is the first for us. What you think, Felix? We're gonna end the show a little early today. All righty. Our next show is going to be March 4th. Thank you guys for tuning in. When we come back on March 4th, we're going to be square into baseball season. We're getting ready for the tournament. Coming down the stretch for the tournament for the all here. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. We do appreciate it. Let's music in here. Get on out of here with. Let's see. But either way, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. And you guys have a great weekend. And everybody be safe.